Microsoft, and other companies have lost famous people, and the company continues.
They
But
were
if you
just
lost the data,
right-sized.
yeah, they were right sized, be balanced.
Yeah.
But if you lost the data, you couldn't continue business. So what's the most important asset in a company?
Me.
It used to be people, but by my definition, I think it's data.
Yes, I agree.
And so the question then is, if you're a DBA, you probably will be outsourced or clouded, but I'm not a DBA, I'm a data professional. I help my company with their data. So the cloud to me is another tool, outsourcing, another tool, right?
That's fine, but my job description says DBA, so regardless of
Don't
what
be
I
a
think I
DBA.
am.
Yeah.
Then don't be a DBA. Go
Well,
turn
yeah.
that into a strategy.
And when I blogged a while back that the cloud was the direction of the future,
Yeah.
and at some point in time I was pretty aggressive because
Yeah.
I wanted to stir up controversy, because controversy makes life interesting.
Right.
I was saying in the future,
Take a note of that,
in the future, hosting your own data will seem as archaic as starting up your own BBS system.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
I don't know, man. I kind of think I
Okay,
haven't bought into the whole cloud
That's my
thing
point.
yet.
Hold on. What I got back was 50 people calling me an idiot because they liked their hardware, and they had other reasons.
Sure.
But basically, it's like, no, that's not going to threaten my job.
Yeah.
But we'll wait and see.
Maybe if you're in a secure environment where you do need to physically contain your data, hi, I'm with NSA. You don't get in. Ever.
Do any of us have the servers under our desk?
No.
I mean, isn't it another building anyway?
Yeah.
Somebody asked me one day, well, I'm not going to the cloud because what if I lost the connection to the internet? And I said, wow, what if you lost the connection to the internet now? What would you do today? Would you still be able to work? Well, of course we would. Really? Are your phone systems, are they based on...
That's
and they're
not
like,
the pushback. The pushback is, for my industry, we have to control the hardware. It can't be controlled by Microsoft.
okay. Well, you take Microsoft out of the equation, anybody.
Anybody.
But the point is, that the
Yeah.
cloud is what I actually call the cloud somebody else's disks.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
And so we've been doing that for years as DBAs, and we need to get over that. Now there's a new programming
Expense versus
methodology.
capital.
There's a new programming methodology with an Azure or something like that you should be investigating. Sticking your head in the sand is stupid. It's stupid. So you need to learn it.
Yeah.
Whether you employ it or not is one thing, but you need to learn
sorry.
it. Yeah.
I'll be much better after the cataract surgery.
You throw like a girl, you catch like an old man.
Wonder why.
Well, at least it's not vice versa.
Yeah. That would be good.
No, but
I'm good.
The last gig I had was with the full-time gig was with the state of Texas. The Secretary of State lost the servers for 3 weeks. No backup plan except to bring IBM at time and a half and start cleaning it up and trying to get it back online.
Brutal. We hear this all the
I think I
time.
actually read about that.
Yeah, we hear this all the time.
Look up Team for Texas.
Yeah.
Capital letters. It made baselines of biggest IT disasters
Yeah.
of the year.
Yeah.
It was in a slide deck, I think, that Kim and Paul had put up. Biggest disaster. That was scenario 1, scenario 2, scenario 3, and that was
And
like
it's
the big
basic,
one.
101. I mean, backups for crying out
Well,
loud.
No
that's the
failover
problem.
system, no nothing.
And that's the problem a lot of people have with the cloud, and the problem that I have with it as well, right? Is like you look at the CI host disaster from a few years ago,
Sure.
where they hadn't backed up any of their customers' databases in months, and it was in their contract, and they were contractually bound to back up their servers went down, and they
So
lost.
they're
Something happened, and they lost like 7 servers. And hundreds of customers were completely without data.
Well, it happened to
and
Google
that's
Mail
the,
not
and that's
long
the
ago.
problem with the cloud is you're relying on somebody else doing their job. Where
Correct.
If I have it in house, not only do I know I'm doing it, my bosses know I'm doing it because I can say, "Show it to me," and I mean, there's a level of accountability there.
I would like to see some sort of, not a governing body necessarily, but it would nice to be able to be certified to come into a house and say, okay, you guys are doing your backups, you're doing your offsite DR, you're doing your this, you're doing your that, and be able to put that little stamp on your thing saying, we're not morons. And so you can do business with us.
So something
I would
like
love
a
that.
something like a I don't know, SAS 70 on it.
Something like that, only, but...
Probably something
Because
Yeah,
that's a
those
part
are
of SAS
thousand.
70.
But more, I'm looking more on the marketing side of it because, who looks at a company and goes, yes, but are you actually SAS 70 compliant?
Plenty of people. When I was at
Nobody
SourceCorp,
I've ever worked
our
with.
customers wouldn't. A lot of our customers wouldn't work with us unless we showed them our SAS.
But
70
and the CI host, the thing with CI host is it's a lot of individual, not as technical users using the service. So I'm talking about something that's at least marketed more for the common man So if that's it, great. But let's repackage it and let's use
Well,
it.
could you just put that in the contract that Sean says I
It
want
was-
I want the right to physically visit your facility and make sure you're backing it up like I would. I mean, so my point is this: no one, I don't think anyone's going to force someone to go to a completely new paradigm that you don't want to go to. It's another tool in the box, and I think it's the big deal here is going to be a data professional is learn what the tools are and when they go. When your company comes to you as the data professional, they don't know. They don't even know how critical that data is until you explain it to them and you show them the Texas things and you show them the other things. Hey, this has happened to other places to really smart people. So the business, you need to be asking me, how data professional are you? And I need to have an answer.
And it's astounding how difficult it is to get that across to a business. Once again, at a recent gig, telling them you don't have DR backups. You have, we have a cluster. You have a cluster on site. If a tornado hits this building, you're dead. Well, we've never had a disaster in the last 7 years.
I think that's
And
the
I never
definition
heard
of
the
the word
word
disaster.
Mental.
So here's an interesting
Collective
thing we did.
language.
We had a particular place I worked where we were rolling out full systems, which had Windows and SQL and Exchange and Office and everything, and headless terminals, Win terminals at a lot of different locations around the United States, like 400, and we were developing this. There would be no IT talent at all at the sites. So we had to be able to manage sort of everything. And it actually back-ended into an AS400, but they were SQL servers, 6.5 at the time, coming back over some lines and so on. So the team that I got together, that I had hired, I had an Exchange person, I had an NT person, I had a SQL person, I had an Office person, and so on. And so I hired these people. I said, okay, we got to come up with a design. We came up with a design where you had colored cables, where you hit a button and it would build everything, where the backups were done automatically. It was gorgeous. And I said, okay, what's our DR strategy look like? We have tapes. The ladies know how to change the tapes in the office. They keep them off-sited. We've got that contracted. Everything's good. I said, great. So I borrowed a person from accounting, and I said, can I have this lady for a day or two to come in here and work with us on the new project? And they said yes. So I brought her in, put her in a different cubicle, and I said, she is in Ottumwa, Iowa, and we're here in this state, and you can't talk to her, but you can call her if you wish. So I'm going to go over there and do something. You guys are going to do the DR solutions that we need, that you kind of have a nice little plan. And I said, we're going to go through this, and we're going to get her back up and running, and we're going to track the time. And we had calculated it was about $2,000 to $3,000 an hour when we were down, a billing that wasn't happening when this site was down. And I said, okay, how much do we think who's got a pool on what we're going to lose? 5,000, 7,000, whatever it was. Okay, go. So I walked over to her cubicle. I said, excuse me a minute, and I deleted the NTOS kernel file. And then
Always a fun thing.
Always a fun thing to do. I mean, how often is that going to happen? I don't know. As often as a hurricane
hurricane
hits or a tornado. So I delayed that, and I said, okay. And she said, what do I do? I said, I don't know. What'd they tell you? She said, do we just restart it? I said, I don't know. What'd they tell you? She said, they didn't tell me anything. I said, what would you do? And she said, I don't know. I guess I'll restart it. So she pushed the off button. And of course, everything just because up until then we were still working and all that. I deleted a protected file, but it wasn't being called on, and so down it went. Now it's black screen. It's not blue screen because can't get to that. NTOS kernel missing. Please insert boot disk. And she's like, what do I do here? Well, they had a rescue disk on the side that would restore the backup sort of automatically from the rescue disk. And she said, do I put that in? And I said, sure, I guess, because they hadn't told her what to do. So it started the thing, and it completely took it back to bare metal. Now nothing worked. All the data was gone. Because this thing had happened before she took a backup. And so she said, how do I log on? I said, I don't know. What'd they tell you? So we're now into about 2.5 hours, because the backup itself took that long. And, so we're not...
This is a
This is a little cruel.
They're over there working. They think everything's great. They have no idea problems happening. I'm like, by the way, you're down. You're at 6,000 right now. And they're like, what do you mean? She hasn't called. Tell her to call. I said, no, she's in Ottumwa. You can't yell across from here to Ottumwa, Iowa. And they're like, well, tell her to call. I said, no, you didn't tell her to call. So hilarity ensues. You can figure, right? 3 days later, cut to the chase, the server was back. They shipped her a new one. And I said, okay, now.
Then I gotta ask, to move the server to the other cube, did you use FedEx?
I did. You know what I did? I said, okay, box up a server, run it downstairs. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm just going to, no. She's in Ottumwa, Iowa. They had to box up a server. They didn't have the box. I said, might want to put that in your DR plan. That one you gave me, the one you gave me, you should, because they gave me a DR plan. It's a 1 page long. I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay,
My,
put that
how
in the DR
efficient
plan.
is that?
Take that down to Federal Express. They come back upstairs, eyes like this, because it was 7:30 at night. They're closed. I said, oh, wonder where there's one open. Well, there's one open like two towns away that stays open 24. But I said, better get in your car. We're at like $28,000 right now. They said, you're not serious. I said, yeah, I'm serious. So they loaded a server in their
That's
car
great.
and drove 2 towns over and came back livid. It was like 10:30 at night when they got back. They didn't really ship it. They just had to go there,
There,
go
'cause
through
the
all the
papers-
motions. And then I said, okay, I'll deliver it tomorrow morning at 10:30 when they open.
Now, I'm going to say, you must work with the smartest people in the world, because he hasn't complained once. We're all leaping in with, oh my God, this, oh my God, that. Are you just like super nice, or do you just work with the best company in the world that never gets anything wrong? Sorry.
Or do you just think your
You-
boss is going to watch this?
You have, no,
It's
we'll,
with the Christian network. They're prected.
we'll spread it out.
We've
We'll
got
say
our
you
DR
have
plan.
worked with, so it's not just this company.
We actually do have a pretty decent DR plan that I
Excellent.
attempt to have.
Excellent.
Yeah, we do have a little bit of the, we hope it'll magically fix itself. But we're
You-
looking at some virtualization technologies and tools that are supposed to,
Do you offsite your
actually have a
tapes?
meeting on that in not too long from now.
Oh, really?
Do you offsite your tapes?
Yes.
Well,
Actually, we use a thing called Exagrid
okay, what is that?
that compresses the stuff and pushes it to our DR site.
Okay, all right. So you're not
automatically.
relying on tapes.
Yeah.
The thing I always ask is, do you have the same tape drive? Because when the building goes, the tape drive will go.
Sure.
And the tape drive that was $10,000 because it's robotic and does multiple tapes and all that. Do you have another one of those somewhere? Because I don't make that anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
I had that happen in the military
Yeah,
one time.
yeah.
Big mainframe
So
thing.
you brought up something a few minutes ago that I wanted to touch on because when you were talking about when you come in, you know the company needs to ask you questions and find out how good of a database
Yeah.
professional you are.
Yeah.
But I've become increasingly upset the last few years with that one-sided contract. Okay, great.
Mhm.
I know that I'm a database professional and I know that I can lead you
Yep.
down a certain path. But now I want to ask you, how serious are you?
And then you're
Are you just going to be yanking my chain and stringing me along, and I'm going to be writing docs and making recommendations and rewriting things for you to go, nah.
Too expensive.
How serious are you?
No time.
So are you going to,
Yeah,
I
I was
wish that
so-
I could go into an interview and say, no, let me ask you a few techie questions.
Yeah,
I do.
that
So
would
why
be
wouldn't
bad.
Because
I
I
do.
don't want, because
I do.
because typically it's not,
They lie.
because,
That's okay.
well, no, I mean,
I get it out.
Information.
I get it
no,
out.
I mean like with, like, because we've all had tech screenings before, right? When we go in for a new job.
I love to know
well,
tech screenings.
well, how come I'm not allowed to tech screen the guy that's doing me? I don't want to work with a bunch of idiots.
I do. I actually do.
How
You want to work
on
with a bunch of idiots?
I'm not even going to jump on it.
Aren't you self-employed?
And you came and joined us in this conversation.
I mean, are you
Oh, I
afraid?
get that. You're,
Yeah. That's what I checked.
Are you afraid to do that? Because at
Well,
the end of every
I've
interview
done
I've
it
ever been in,
before,
they
and it
say,
doesn't really go over
"Do you
well.
have any questions for us?"
I jerk out a list. I've got a list.
I
I'm
bet
like,
you
oh, actually, yes, I do have a few questions that scares the heck out of them because they're like, oh, I don't want to know what time do I start and all that kind of thing. It's like, no. You know, what do I do to succeed here? How do I succeed? And then the second question I ask, how do I fail? When you say, wow, that guy just really screwed up.
that.
What did you just say? Why did you just say that about that person?
I like that.
And if they say, well, I mean, we have lots of opportunities to succeed. Okay, that's bullcrap. That's vague and it's not worth anything. Okay,
Yeah.
tell me how I succeed. What would I do that you'd say, oh my gosh, and I'm looking for this. What I'm looking for is you helped us pull the profit lever. Because IT is always pulling the cost lever. If they say
Right.
something like, well, you helped us save money by using disk compression or something, I'm like, I'm out.
You know,
'Cause I want people
we've
that-
been talking
yeah.
about DR and all that kind of stuff and current data. Yeah, that's very important. But drawing it back to design and
Mhm.
data modeling, which is what this was supposed to be
Oh, was it?
about.
No,
Back
that's why
to
you're just
you
sitting
guys.
The
here
other
quiet
thing that
and-
I have found
Well,
is
you know,
that
Buck always changes.
databases that are not well designed are not extensible.
Oh, of course
and then
not.
the database is the roadblock, not the roadmap to the
Completely agree.
future. And organizations can say, now we have to do this, IT, can you help us? And IT goes,
Yeah.
Why don't you ask your friend the cloud?
that'll take 2 years just because of the design.
And
The
that's-
Good point.
schema has to be done, has to be designed
Well,
very
don't
well.
forget
And that's what
the
fright-
old bad data. So, and move it over to the new platform. Well,
As
yeah, it's as is. No, it's
It's really a
And this
pile
is-
of manure.
This is what's been frightening me about all these new features.
Yeah.
They keep talking about these great new features, and then they have these things that people do self-serve.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
Mhm.
that to
Yeah,
do self-serve, you have to have a platform that
That's right.
provides the data.
Yeah, and that's
But
where
you know-
policies and things like that do actually come into play, where you set, okay, I'm fine with you playing, here are the rules. And that's again, the data professional's job. So whether you're using the cloud, Azure, or anything else, you can set up policies of what you want. I want this to be this way, and when it's not, tell me. And then I don't mind them self-serving, because they're self-serving within an arena that I care about. But you're exactly right with the design. I teach a class at UW on database stuff. And I often have developers that are moving into sort of the data professional role. And I'll ask them, for the benefit of the class, how many people already do IT projects? Lots of hands go up. What's the phase where you see all the mistakes being made? Every one of them raises their hand and says, it's design. I inherit crap, and then I'm told make it go.
Well, and even more, you guys were talking about having to document. You got to get in there and document. You shouldn't have to do that. You should have been doing that in the design phase,
It's already done.
tweaking it as you get going, and then you're done, and everybody moves on to
Good
something
point.
It's
else.
interesting
Colors
you
the sky
said
in your
there's
world.
developers moving
I said
into
should.
the data. How many database developers move into application development?
I haven't seen as many. I've seen it the other way. Now, I'm teaching a class that does that.
That was a
so,
leading question.
Shameless plug, shameless plug.
But do you know why? This is interesting. At UW, we did a study and found out, in this area, the job kind of growth and so on, everything's been trailing off lately. And a lot of the jobs have been trailing off except for DBAs. They're not
DBAs
growing.
or data professionals?
They call it DBAs.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because Oracle, and they went across the platforms, not SQL Server, and so the developers saw this study and see that all those C# developers and Java developers are moving offshore, and they said, now UI, interestingly enough, stays in the U.S. You can't get good UI design apparently offshore as much, apparently. But the database stuff is flat, and here's why. It's one of the things I talked to our guys when they were getting ready to the keynote. I said, whatever you do, now, it's the first day, the second day the guy didn't listen to me. I said, don't use the words do more with less.
People were complaining about that.
There's only
It's
one
winter
DBA in the
rampant.
shop. If you did more with less, you'd be doing things with nobody, and I'm not sure how that works. So the DBAs don't do more with less. There's only one of us anyway. So we're flat right now. So how do you lay off the DBA in the shop?
It's very easy. I've
Oh,
been
yeah.
I
laid off
suppose
a
you-
couple
I
times.
suppose
That's
you
the only
could,
DBA
but-
in an enterprise.
Okay, how's that working out?
And not at all
I
trying
haven't
to,
seen them since. I don't know.
and not at all trying to cut things short, because we'll sit here and talk to you guys all day, but I know some of you have places to be. So if you need to get going, that's cool.
I
Hop in,
actually
hop
do. I can
out.
return you guys to your previously scheduled discussion if you want it back. You want
Sure.
it back?
It's all up to you, baby.
I can
all up to you.
randomize anything. That's Joe.
Yeah, it's not, I got a book signing at noon.
Yeah,
That's
Joe
it.
was speaking on T-SQL when we ended up on DR somehow one time in one of his sessions because of me, so I can randomize anything.
Well, I'll tell you what we do. Why don't we?
It's disruptive.
Why don't we take a break at least, and
Yeah, I have a
then
book
Yeah.
signing coming up too.
groovy. So anyone who wants to stay and hang out, we'd love to have you for some more. Is it cool?
Yeah, you were the Coke in the bottle
Great.
of water.
Okay. Well,
There you
that's it for
I
the
haven't heard
session.
back from Mark Souza. I don't know if we have him at 11 or not. I just don't know.
We'll
Does he
find
know where
out
you
soon.
are? I saw him upstairs.
I don't know.
I saw him upstairs.
Well,
You
let's
should tell him
say
what we're
let's say
doing.
goodbye.
You should probably tell him what.
Okay.
I
Bye.
haven't heard from him, so I don't know.
Oh, he literally hasn't responded.
They're just gonna keep talking.
Yeah.
Bye bye, everybody.